What is the most dangerous weapon in the world? It's not a sword, it's not an army, it's a mindset. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that the mind, once shaped in a certain way, could become more lethal than any empire, more powerful than any king. There's a mindset that hides behind calm eyes and quiet smiles. It isn't aggressive, loud, or violent, but it's deadly. It's the mindset of control. The mindset that watches instead of reacts, that studies instead of speaks, that waits instead of rushing in. Most people are driven by emotion. They explode when insulted. They speak when they should listen. They chase when they should attract. They seek validation when they should remain silent. But the dangerous mind doesn't. It calculates. It absorbs the chaos of others and turns it into strategy. Machiavelli wrote that the one who can rule himself can rule anyone. Because if no one can pull your strings, no one can control you. That's the core of this mindset, self-mastery. While others are slaves to their impulses, the dangerous mind becomes a master of timing. It knows when to disappear, when to act, and when to strike so silently that the world doesn't even realize what happened until it is too late. The weak mindset lives for attention. It needs to be seen. It needs to be heard. It wants to prove something. The dangerous mindset has nothing to prove. It moves through the world like a shadow quietly, precisely, and purposefully. Its power comes not from noise, but from presence. When Machiavelli studied rulers, he found one truth. Those who appear harmless often control those who appear strong. Because strength without strategy is useless, and confidence without awareness is a death sentence. The dangerous mind uses patience as its primary weapon. It lets others expose their weaknesses first. It waits for the perfect moment, then makes a single move that changes everything. You see, this mindset isn't cruel or cold-blooded by nature. It's simply aware. It knows that emotion is a tool, not a command. It knows when to act human and when to act strategic. It doesn't seek revenge in a fit of anger. It dismantles opposition in silence. It doesn't fight for respect. It commands it through sheer presence. In a world full of loud, emotional, easily manipulated people, the calm, calculated thinker stands like a ghost on the battlefield, untouchable, unpredictable, and unbreakable. Everyone else is playing checkers, but the dangerous mind is playing chess in the dark. People fear what they cannot read. That's why silence terrifies them. That's why calm people make others uncomfortable. They project their own insecurities onto you because they can't predict your next move. And that unpredictability is the highest form of power. Machiavelli warned, never reveal your full hand. The moment people know your thoughts, your plans, your emotions, they own a piece of you. That's why the dangerous mind keeps its cards close, its emotions locked, and its motives invisible. You can't attack what you can't understand. This mindset doesn't react to betrayal with rage. It doesn't cry over loss. It studies the betrayal. It learns from it. It stores that data and transforms it into wisdom. The dangerous mind doesn't see pain as punishment. It sees it as training. While others drown in their emotions, it grows colder, sharper, wiser. Every wound becomes information. Every insult becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes the seed of a new strategy. That's what makes it unstoppable. People often confuse kindness with weakness. But Machiavelli would tell you, pretend to be kind, act humble, and let others believe they're in control. That illusion disarms them. It gives you the space to maneuver. And when the time comes, your strike will be surgical, precise, final, and unforgettable. This mindset understands one simple rule. True dominance is quiet. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Real control is invisible. You'll never hear it coming. You'll only feel its effects when it's already too late. To cultivate this kind of mind, you must destroy everything weak within you, your need to explain yourself, your fear of being misunderstood, your addiction to being liked. You must learn to be misunderstood and still stand calm. Because the more misunderstood you are, the more mysterious you become, and mystery is the oxygen of power. When you stop explaining, you start commanding. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. And when you stop talking, the world finally starts listening. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the dangerous mindset knows the highest form of power isn't fear, it's control. To make others act according to your will, without them even realizing it, to influence without demanding, to lead without speaking, to conquer without ever fighting a single battle. This mindset lives in a state of constant awareness, always watching patterns, reading people, studying their weaknesses, and testing their reactions. It never acts impulsively. Every step is a calculation, every word a move on the board, every silence a message. And that's precisely why it's feared. Because no one knows what it truly wants. No one can predict it. It moves like a shadow in daylight right in front of you, yet completely invisible. Most people will never understand this mindset because it requires detachment. You must detach from your ego, from your emotions, from your desire for comfort. You must be able to sit alone in silence with your own thoughts and sharpen them like blades. You must learn to see through people, not just look at them. The weak mind wants to react. The dangerous mind wants to understand. The weak mind needs approval. The dangerous mind needs control. The weak mind blames. The dangerous mind adapts. That's the dark truth Machiavelli tried to teach. Control yourself and you control the world. Lose control of yourself and the world will eat you alive. Every empire that fell, every ruler that failed, every genius that broke it happened for one reason. Emotion overcame logic. Impulse killed strategy. Reaction replaced patience. If you want to rise, you must learn emotional neutrality. You must become the eye of the storm, calm, focused, and deadly precise. The more chaos that surrounds you, the calmer you must become. That's how you win. The dangerous mindset doesn't rush to success. It builds power brick by brick, secretly. It allows others to underestimate it. It hides its strength under a veil of humility. Because when you appear harmless, no one builds defenses against you, and when you finally strike, no one sees it coming. That's why this mindset is the most dangerous of all. Not because it kills, but because it controls without force. It dominates without threats. It conquers without war. Machiavelli's ultimate truth is this: the greatest weapon you will ever possess is your mind once you learn to silence it, master it, and direct it. The world belongs not to the loud, not to the emotional, not to the dramatic, but to the quiet observer who sees everything, feels nothing unnecessary, and moves with unwavering purpose. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more insights. See you in the next one. The dangerous mindset doesn't exist to impress anyone. It exists to survive, to thrive, and ultimately to dominate in a world ruled by manipulation. Think about it. Most people are victims of their own emotions. But the dangerous mind, it manipulates emotion itself. It studies how others react to fear, love, loss, and flattery, and then uses that knowledge to guide outcomes. Now, this isn't about being cruel. It's about being strategic. The philosopher Machiavelli understood that morality and power rarely coexist peacefully. Those who cling too tightly to virtue often become pawns for those who understand control. The dangerous mind walks that fine line between light and darkness, between appearing moral and acting effective. It smiles while calculating. It agrees while disagreeing. It obeys while planning a rebellion. You'll recognize this mind not by its words, but by its silence. It listens when others talk. It watches while others show their cards. It learns while others reveal their weaknesses. It never argues because arguing exposes emotion. It never explains because explanation gives power away. It simply adjusts, adapts, and acts when the moment is right. Every single time you lose control, you pay a price. Every time you react emotionally, you give someone else leverage over you. The dangerous mind refuses to be readable. It trains itself to maintain a face that reveals nothing. Calm eyes, a neutral voice, no emotional leaks. This isn't suppression, it's transformation. It turns chaos into calculation. Machiavelli's greatest truth was this: the one who can predict others but remain unpredictable himself controls the entire game. That's why this mindset studies psychology, history, and power dynamics. It understands the herd before moving among it. It can see a person's weaknesses before that person even knows they exist. The dangerous mind uses people's illusions against them. If someone craves admiration, it gives them praise and gains influence. If someone craves control, it offers submission until the time is right to take that control back. If someone seeks love, it offers understanding not because it feels deeply, but because it knows that emotion is leverage. This mindset is built on discipline. It doesn't chase pleasure, it doesn't need validation from others. It lives with delayed gratification. It will sacrifice comfort today for domination tomorrow. While others are looking for shortcuts, the dangerous mind is perfecting the long game. It doesn't win small battles, it aims to win the entire war. Most minds break under pressure. They lose focus when they're tested. But the dangerous mind becomes sharper under stress. It thrives in chaos, because where others panic, it finds clarity. It doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" It asks, "What can I gain from this?" And that, right there, is the difference between victims and rulers. Victims feel. Rulers think. The dangerous mindset rewires its reactions. Every insult becomes data. Every setback becomes fuel. Every betrayal becomes a lesson in human nature. And the one who understands human nature rules it. Machiavelli warned rulers to never depend on loyalty. Because loyalty is temporary, but power can be eternal. The dangerous mind builds systems that don't rely on others. It creates an independence so complete that no betrayal can break it. It can walk away from anyone, anytime, without emotional collapse. That's true freedom. That's true danger. There's a reason silence is so feared. It reveals nothing. It leaves others wondering, trying to fill the void. People panic when they can't read you because uncertainty breeds fear, and that fear gives you control. The dangerous mind uses silence as a weapon to confuse, to test, to dominate. It doesn't fill the air with empty words. It lets others reveal themselves. And when they do, it listens to the truth behind their words, the fear behind their smiles, the insecurity behind their confidence. People always expose themselves to the patient observer. The dangerous mind doesn't hate. Hatred clouds vision. It doesn't love blindly because love weakens boundaries. It doesn't trust too fast because trust is a currency. It invests trust like gold, carefully, strategically, and rarely. Machiavelli's dark truth was that survival in power requires masks. You wear the face that opens doors. You speak the words that gain loyalty. You show emotion only when it earns you an advantage. But beneath it all, your real self remains untouched, unseen. That's how you move through a world of predators as one of them, but smarter. Power isn't about destroying others. It's about outlasting them. It's about building a strength so internal, so disciplined, that no external chaos can shake you. You don't win by shouting louder, you win by thinking deeper. Every person who has ever ruled, conquered, or led understood this mindset. Caesar had it. Napoleon had it. Machiavelli taught it. They weren't controlled by the opinions of others. They were guided by purpose, strategy, and timing. That's the foundation of all dominance, patience, and precision. The dangerous mind knows that weakness often hides behind kindness and arrogance often hides fear. It knows that most people want to appear powerful more than they want to be powerful. It lets them keep that illusion while it works quietly in the background, positioning itself to win. When it finally moves, it doesn't argue. It doesn't explain, it simply acts and the results speak for themselves. That's real power, silent, invisible, and unstoppable. So ask yourself, are you emotional or are you strategic? Do you seek validation or do you seek control? Do you speak to be understood or do you move to be effective? Because the answer to those questions will determine your place in this world, a pawn or a player. And if you choose to evolve into this dangerous mindset, understand this. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be judged. People will call you cold, distant, even ruthless. But those who think that way will always be ruled by their feelings. You, on the other hand, will be ruled by your focus. And that is Machiavelli's dark truth, the one he whispered through centuries. Control your emotions, and you will control your destiny. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into the dynamics of power and strategy. We'll see you in the next one. The transformation into the dangerous mindset begins in isolation. No one can build this kind of power while surrounded by noise. You must walk away from the distractions, the endless opinions, the validation-seeking voices, the constant craving for approval. Solitude becomes your forge. Silence becomes your teacher. In solitude, the mind sharpens. You begin to see the patterns that others miss, how people betray their intentions through tone, through movement, through inconsistency. You start to read motives like a language. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. That's when the dangerous mindset begins to awaken. You stop reacting to every insult. You stop explaining your every decision. You stop wasting energy on those who don't understand your purpose. You learn that detachment isn't coldness, it's power. Because once emotion no longer drives you, nothing can manipulate you. Machiavelli said men should be either treated kindly or destroyed, because they can avenge a slight but not a ruin. The dangerous mind understands that halfway measures are weakness. When it helps fully. When it attacks, it destroys completely. There's no in-between. Precision replaces hesitation. This mindset doesn't chase validation. It studies results. It doesn't seek comfort. It seeks control. While the world runs toward pleasure, it moves toward mastery. It sacrifices instant gratification for permanent dominance. In time, you'll notice how different your perception becomes. You'll begin to predict people's moves. You'll sense deception before words are even spoken. You'll see through the charm of manipulators, through the pity of victims, through the smiles of opportunists. You'll recognize every mask because you've learned to wear them yourself. And that's the paradox. To protect yourself from manipulation, you must understand manipulation. To become immune to lies, you must understand how lies are built. The dangerous mindset studies human behavior not for morality, but for precision. It doesn't judge, it observes. It doesn't complain, it calculates. Machiavelli never told men to be cruel. He told them to appear virtuous while being capable of cruelty when necessary. That's the balance the dangerous mind masters, appearing harmless while being capable of total destruction. You don't show your fangs until it's too late. People will underestimate you. Let them. Their arrogance becomes your camouflage. Their ego blinds them to your depth. While they try to prove themselves, you build yourself. While they waste energy on attention, you conserve energy for opportunity. The dangerous mindset doesn't move often, but when it does, it moves decisively. It never acts out of desperation. It waits until the odds are perfect. And when it strikes, it makes sure there will be no second round. Every move is final. Every decision is deliberate. Every silence is intentional. There's power in not reacting. There's strength in doing nothing, not out of fear, but out of control. Because the moment you react emotionally, you've given someone your power. But when you remain calm in chaos, people begin to fear you. They sense something they can't explain, a quiet dominance that doesn't need words. The dangerous mind doesn't just control others, it controls itself. It can feel anger but not act on it. It can feel desire but not be enslaved by it. It can feel fear but still move forward. That's mastery. That's the weapon. Machiavelli believed that fortune, luck, controls half of our lives, but discipline controls the other half. And those who master their inner world can bend fortune to their will. That's the secret few ever learn. When your mind is uncheckable, even chaos becomes predictable. This mindset isn't about being heartless. It's about being unbreakable. You can still love, but without blindness. You can still care, but without dependency. You can still trust, but with awareness. Love becomes a choice, not a weakness. Kindness becomes a tactic, not an obligation. As you evolve into this way of thinking, you'll find people drifting away. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you've become distant, detached, too quiet, and they'll be right. Because you no longer need the noise they live on. You've stepped into a higher field where power speaks through silence, not through words. The dangerous mindset never argues for dominance, it earns it. It doesn't shout commands, it inspires obedience through presence. You'll notice people start to act differently around you. They'll hesitate before speaking. They'll measure their words because your energy has changed. It's no longer reactive, it's controlled. That's the invisible crown Machiavelli talked about. The kind that can't be stolen or seen, but everyone can feel. In time, this mindset changes everything. Your posture, your speech, your eyes, your silence becomes heavier. Your patience becomes longer. You stop needing to win every small fight because you know you're winning the war. And one day you'll realize something powerful. You no longer chase anything. Not love, not attention, not approval. You attract everything naturally, silently, magnetically, because power doesn't pursue. It pulls. Machiavelli would call this transformation becoming the lion and the fox, strong enough to strike, cunning enough to survive, fearless but never reckless, dangerous but never exposed. The dangerous mindset doesn't announce itself. It doesn't post victories. It doesn't need recognition. It simply moves like the quiet wind before the storm. And when it finally arrives, everything changes. The world will never understand you, and that's exactly how you want it, because mystery is armor. The less they know, the more they fear. The more they fear, the more they obey. That's the art of unseen power, the crown Machiavelli reserved for those who can command without speaking, win without fighting, and lead without showing. And if you can master this, you will never again be at the mercy of anyone's mood, anyone's betrayal, or anyone's power, because you will have become power itself. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe and follow for more insights into the nature of power. Until next time, stay sharp. The world will always test your strength, not with open battles, but with subtle traps. People will try to pull emotion from you, drag you into arguments, force you to react. But the dangerous mind sees through it all. It knows every provocation is a test, every insult a mirror, every challenge an opportunity to show restraint. Control isn't proven in peace. It's proven in provocation. Anyone can appear calm when life is easy, but the dangerous mindset maintains control when chaos unfolds. When others scream, it listens. When others rush, it waits. When others fall apart, it remains whole. Machiavelli said that appearances are stronger than reality. The dangerous mind knows this well. It crafts an image, not of perfection, but of mystery. It allows others to project their own fears and fantasies onto it. People respect what they don't understand. They admire what they can't define. So you must become undefinable. The dangerous mindset wears simplicity as armor. It doesn't overshare. It doesn't overpromise. It doesn't decorate itself with words. It lets action speak. It lets silence echo. It moves only when it must, and every move leaves an impression. Over time, you'll notice that your energy changes the atmosphere of any room you enter. People feel your presence before you even speak. They don't know why they listen to you. They just do. That's because energy built from discipline carries weight. It doesn't demand attention. It commands it. Machiavelli taught that it's better to act like a fox among lions than a lion among foxes. The dangerous mind knows how to hide sharpness behind charm. It can flatter, smile, and play the fool, all while studying everyone around it. Because manipulation is a shield as much as it is a sword. But here's the truth few admit. The dangerous mindset is not born in power. It's born in pain. It comes from betrayal, from failure, from being underestimated, from being broken so many times that emotion becomes useless. From the ashes of naivety rises a version of you that no longer needs external validation. A version that knows the world owes you nothing, and that's your freedom. You begin to move differently. You stop rushing to explain yourself. You stop caring who approves. You start making choices for purpose, not applause. You start seeking understanding, not noise. The dangerous mind operates with one question before every decision. Does this serve my long-term control? That single question separates the rulers from the ruled. Machiavelli believed fortune favors those who prepare for chaos. So the dangerous mind prepares for every outcome. It expects betrayal, failure, and resistance, not with fear, but with readiness. Because when you're mentally prepared for war, peace can't surprise you. And when chaos comes, you'll see what others don't. Patterns, opportunities, power gaps. You'll see who panics first, who lies fastest, who abandons who. That's when you learn everything about human nature. That's when you strike, not with rage, but with calm, precise execution. The dangerous mindset never wastes energy. It doesn't fight every battle. It fights only when winning matters. It knows that power is not about constant dominance. It's about selective destruction. It wins through patience, through invisibility, through control. Imagine the battlefield of life, full of noise, ego, competition, desperation. While others rush forward, screaming for attention, the dangerous mind stands still. It watches, it studies, it waits. And when everyone else has exhausted themselves, it takes the throne without resistance. That's the silent path to power. You'll learn that people destroy themselves through their need to be seen. They expose secrets to feel important. They argue to feel significant. They show emotion to seem authentic. The dangerous mind uses that weakness as fuel. It remains unreadable because what can't be read can't be attacked. Machiavelli warned that those who cannot hide their intentions are destined to fail. So you must master the art of misdirection. Never reveal your plan. Let others believe they know you. Smile while thinking 2 steps ahead. Compliment those who doubt you. Pretend weakness where you are strongest. It's not deception, it's survival. The dangerous mindset operates like a shadow government, unseen, untouched, but everywhere. It influences without exposure, it leads without title, it wins without credit. That's how the greatest powers in history operated, quietly, strategically, unseen, until the result was inevitable. But with this mindset comes a warning. Once you awaken it, you cannot return to innocence. You'll see through too much. You'll read too deeply. You'll sense motives before words are spoken. You'll lose the ability to believe blindly. You'll stop living in illusion, and that's both power and burden. Machiavelli's truth is not for the weak. It's for those willing to trade comfort for clarity, emotion for awareness, and reaction for strategy. The dangerous mindset doesn't seek revenge, it replaces revenge with improvement. It doesn't waste energy destroying enemies. It becomes so powerful they destroy themselves trying to stop it. You don't need to fight them. Just keep rising until your silence becomes their defeat. That's what Machiavelli meant when he said, "Never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. Let them dig their own grave while you plan your empire." You will walk through life like a ghost among the living, calm, unreadable, quietly dangerous. You will no longer fear loss because you've mastered detachment. You will no longer fear betrayal because you expect it. You will no longer fear loneliness because solitude has become your weapon. That's when you realize this isn't just a mindset, it's evolution. Machiavelli didn't write for kings. He wrote for those ready to become their own ruler. And the dangerous mindset is the crown you build inside your skull, invisible to the world, but felt by everyone who meets you. When others chase popularity, you'll chase control. When others seek peace, you'll master war. When others need love, you'll command respect. And when they finally realize your strength, it will already be too late. Because the most dangerous mind doesn't destroy others, it transcends them. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more content that challenges the way you see the world. Thank you for watching. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful person in the room is often the quietest? That's when you know a dangerous mindset has reached its final form. It's when you no longer need to prove your power, because your silence itself has become a message. Your calm becomes the loudest sound in the room. This is the moment you realize that true dominance doesn't seek recognition. It simply exists. Machiavelli once wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good. This isn't because goodness is a weakness, but because the world doesn't reward purity, it rewards strategy. The dangerous mind understands this truth to its core. It wears morality like a cloak, ready to remove it when survival demands something darker. Because in this game, mercy without control is suicide. You start to see it everywhere how easily people give away their power. With their words, their fears, their uncontrolled impulses. Every complaint, every emotional outburst, every desperate plea for attention, it's all a confession. They are showing you their vulnerabilities without even realizing it, and what do? You stay still, you listen, you gather their truth and store it away like ammunition. The truly dangerous mind doesn't need to lie. It simply allows others to expose themselves. It doesn't manipulate. It observes until people reveal what they believe is hidden deep inside. The truth always slips from the careless tongue. And in that stillness, you begin to grasp something Machiavelli knew centuries ago. Control isn't about brute force. It's about influence. It's about creating conditions where others willingly move according to your will, convinced it was their own idea. That is the highest form of power-invisible control. You don't tell people what to do, you make them want to do it. You don't demand loyalty, you create dependence. You don't seek followers, you build believers. This is how empires are built without armies, how kings rule without crowns. The dangerous mindset also knows the power of absence. Power isn't always about being present. Sometimes it's about disappearing. Vanish and people will talk. Stay silent and they will imagine. Distance creates curiosity and curiosity breeds influence. This is why the greatest leaders often vanish from sight when they are most feared. Presence is temporary. Mystery is eternal. You'll learn that words lose their meaning when they're overused. Every fool talks about loyalty, truth, and dreams. The dangerous mind knows better. It uses few words, each one measured, each one intentional. Silence forces others to fill the void with their own imagination, and imagination always exaggerates. Machiavelli's darkness wasn't about cruelty, it was about understanding. He saw humanity for what it truly is, selfish, fearful, and driven by desire. The dangerous mind accepts this raw truth without emotion. It doesn't hate humanity for it. It simply stops expecting purity from it. And that, right there, is liberation. Once you stop expecting fairness, betrayal no longer hurts. Once you stop expecting honesty, lies no longer surprise you. Once you stop expecting loyalty, disloyalty becomes predictable. You no longer take offense, you take notes. This detachment transforms you into a strategist. You begin to see the entire chessboard, not just your next move. You see how people destroy themselves with their own greed, jealousy, lust, and pride. And you simply step aside as they inevitably collapse. You don't need to fight them. They are too busy fighting themselves. The dangerous mind carries a quiet confidence, not arrogance, not bravado, just a solid presence. It doesn't need to tell you it's powerful, you can feel it. It doesn't need to intimidate you. Your own uncertainty does that work for it. And that's the beauty of this mindset. It makes the world move around it, effortlessly. Machiavelli said that fortune is like a woman, she must be dominated through audacity. The dangerous mind understands this not literally but psychologically. Life bends for the bold, not for the timid. Opportunity bows to the one who acts with calm certainty. This is why hesitation is death not of the body, but of the mind. You must train yourself to move when others freeze, to decide when others doubt, to act when others are busy waiting for permission. Power doesn't come to those who deserve it. It comes to those who take it. The dangerous mindset doesn't seek balance. It creates it. It doesn't wait for the right time. It becomes the right time. Because when your mind is disciplined enough, the world bends around your focus. And when you reach that point, everything changes. Fear dissolves, insecurity dies. Emotion becomes fuel, not an uncontrollable fire. You become both observer and player, both the cunning fox and the fierce lion, both the silence and the storm. People will still talk about you. They'll call you distant, intimidating, maybe even emotionless. Let them, the weak, always misunderstand the powerful. You'll learn to let them project their fears onto you while you continue to rise, quietly and relentlessly. The dangerous mind doesn't need to destroy anyone. It simply evolves past them. It doesn't compete, it replaces, it doesn't chase. It attracts, it doesn't defend, it endures. And endurance is the truest form of dominance. In the end, Machiavelli's dark truth wasn't about cruelty at all. It was about mastery not of others, but of yourself. Because when you rule your own mind, you have already conquered the most difficult kingdom that exists. You'll start to see how rare this power truly is. Most people will never find it because they fear silence. They fear reflection. They fear being alone with their own thoughts. But those who endure that solitude long enough emerge transformed, untouchable, unbreakable, unreadable. That is the essence of the dangerous mindset. Calm in the middle of chaos, clarity in the fog of confusion, patience under immense pressure. You no longer react to the world reacts to you. And when that happens, when you finally master this power, you will understand why Machiavelli's words have survived for centuries. Because they speak to a truth older than time itself, that the mind, when trained, can become its own weapon, its own empire, its own god. So let the world keep chasing noise. Let them drown in their emotions, their gossip, their chaos. You stay silent, stay sharp, stay unseen. Because power that moves in silence is the only power that truly lasts. And when they finally notice you, it will already be too late. Because by then, you won't just think like Machiavelli. You'll have become what he described, the most dangerous mind of all. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, consider liking this video and subscribing for more insights into the nature of power. Stay sharp. And now, you finally understand the truth. Real power doesn't roar, it whispers, it has no need to prove itself, it just exists like gravity, unseen but absolutely undeniable. Think about it. Every empire, every dynasty, every legacy begins in silence in the quiet, focused mind of someone who simply refuses to be ordinary. Someone who watches, who studies, who waits for the perfect moment. That is how rulers are born. That is how legends are built. Machiavelli wasn't just writing about politics. He understood that the world is a grand stage, a game of perception. And those who control perception, well, they control everything. The truly dangerous mind doesn't fight against reality. It learns to shape it. It subtly bends attention, it steers emotion, and it draws opportunity toward itself, all without ever showing a hint of effort. It's like a master chess player who is always 10 moves ahead, making it all look easy. But be warned, this mindset demands sacrifice. It's not a path for the faint of heart. You will lose comfort. The familiar, cozy routines that keep you safe? They will become your cage. You will lose people. As you grow, not everyone can or will grow with you. Most painfully, you will outgrow your old self completely. The person you are today will become a memory. The price of this profound clarity is almost always loneliness. But in that silence, in that solitude, you will discover a truth the world desperately tries to hide. Solitude is not emptiness. It is power, condensed and purified. When you stop needing the constant noise of the world, you finally start to hear the symphony of your own mind. When you stop begging for external approval, you begin to approve of yourself, which is the only validation that ever truly mattered. When you stop chasing fleeting shadows, the light you were seeking finds you. You'll notice the change in small ways at first. You will walk differently, with a newfound purpose in your stride. You will speak slower, each word chosen with intention, not desperation. You will look people directly in the eyes, and you'll notice they are often the first to look away. You will feel time itself differently, not as something to be wasted or killed, but as a resource to be commanded, to be invested. That is what mastery feels like. It's quiet, it's precise, it feels infinite. The darkness often associated with Machiavelli wasn't about cruelty. It was about clarity. He saw the world without the comforting illusions that most people need to get through the day. He wrote, not for the weak or the naive, but for the aware. For those who could look at human nature for what it is. For those who could love with all their heart, but never depend on that love for their survival. For those who could play any role the situation required, but never, ever lose sight of who they truly are. And that is what you are becoming now: adaptable, unreadable, and ultimately unstoppable. A quiet force, a shadow among men, a calm center in the middle of any storm. You don't chase victory anymore because you embody it. It is a part of your very being. Naturally, people will try to pull you back down into their chaos. It's what they know. They'll call you cold. They'll say you've changed, and when they do, just smile. Because they are right, you have changed. You've evolved beyond their level of understanding. You've crossed the invisible line between raw emotion and disciplined control. You've journeyed from weakness to wisdom. You've traded the cacophony of the crowd for the powerful symphony of silence. The dangerous mind doesn't seek to destroy the world. It builds a new one inside itself. A world where you choose what matters. A world where you decide what deserves a reaction from you. A world where you control the narrative that others tell about you, simply by the way you live. And one day you'll look back and realize the old you is gone. It died quietly without a funeral. The version of you that reacted instantly, that begged for attention, that explained itself to those who would never understand, the one who was governed by fear, vanished. What remains is someone unshakable. Someone who cannot be manipulated or controlled. Someone who doesn't seek power anymore because they are power. That's the dark, hidden truth that Machiavelli left behind for those willing to see it. Power is untaken by force. It's cultivated with patience. It grows in the fertile soil of silence, it is watered with discipline, and it blossoms in solitude. And when it finally chooses to reveal itself, the world has no choice but to take notice. So, stay quiet. Stay calculated, stay dangerous. Because in a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, the one who whispers is the one who truly commands the crowd. Did you know there's a mindset that most people will never, ever grasp? It's a way of thinking that separates the respected from the merely liked, the influential from the just noisy. Most people spend their entire lives chasing approval, trying to be understood, and desperately wanting to be liked. They end up wondering why, after all that effort, no one truly respects them. They speak when silence would have been their most powerful statement. They react when stillness could have won them the entire game. This is the great misunderstanding of the average mind. It confuses attention with power and loudness with influence. But there's another way. A more potent, more strategic way of thinking. Let's call it the dangerous mindset. This mind knows a fundamental truth. Attention is fleeting, but respect is permanent. When you start to adopt this way of thinking, you stop moving for applause and you start moving for results. You no longer feel the need to explain your every move or justify your intentions. Instead, you let your actions and their outcomes speak for themselves. The competition changes. You're no longer measuring yourself against others. You're in a constant battle to become a better version of who you were yesterday. Every single day becomes an opportunity to sharpen your mind, to discipline your emotions, and to harden your spirit against adversity. Now, let me be clear. This kind of mindset isn't something you're born with. It's not a gift handed down to a select few. It is forged. It's forged in the fires of betrayal, shaped by the hammer of loss, and cooled in the lonely nights when you realized the only person you could truly count on was yourself. This is precisely why it's so rare. The path to this level of personal power is paved with discomfort and pain, and most people are unwilling to walk it. They'd rather stay on the surface, distracted by shallow comforts and fleeting pleasures. But the dangerous mind isn't afraid of the deep end. It dives headfirst into the darkness, not to be consumed by it, but to find the strength that lies hidden there. You've probably heard the famous quote from Machiavelli, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This is one of the most misunderstood ideas in history. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for cruelty or tyranny. He was talking about control, specifically self-control. In this context, fear doesn't mean terrorizing others. It means earning a level of profound respect through your own self-mastery, your discipline, and your unwavering principles. Think about it. Love without power can easily become dependency. Power without wisdom leads to chaos and destruction. But when you combine power with a deep sense of awareness and self-control, that's when you approach something truly formidable. So, how does this play out in the real world? It changes everything. A person with a dangerous mindset doesn't need to shout to be heard. They don't get dragged into pointless arguments. They operate on a deeper understanding that truth doesn't need a constant, loud defense. Reality doesn't beg you to believe in it, it simply is. So, when someone tells a lie about you, you don't jump to correct them. Their words are a reflection of their character, not yours. When someone doubts your abilities, you don't waste breath trying to convince them. You let your future success be the only explanation they ever get. And when someone disrespects you, you don't react with anger. You don't give them the satisfaction of a response. Why? Because you've learned to play the long game. You've learned to let time be your ultimate vindicator. You understand that the most powerful weapon you have isn't a burst of anger, it's unshakable patience. Every single time you choose to remain calm in the middle of chaos, you aren't just surviving. You are seizing control of the situation. Every moment you delay your reaction, you're not being passive. You're gathering leverage. And every time you walk away from a provocation in silence, you plant a seed of doubt in your opponent's mind. That silence will be louder than any insult you could have hurled. It will echo in their head, making them question their own actions. This is the art of invisible power. You're not just winning the immediate battle. You're fundamentally changing the rules of the game. You're making your opponents question if they ever stood a chance to begin with. And over time, something incredible begins to happen. People will start to feel your presence when you walk into a room, even before you say a word. They'll perceive your silence not as emptiness, but as a form of pressure, a quiet confidence that commands attention. They'll hesitate before they speak to you, not because you're loud or aggressive, but because your stillness demands a higher level of thought and respect. They might use different words to describe you. They might call you intimidating, mysterious, or even cold. But what they are all trying to articulate is that you are free. You are free from the crippling need for everyone to like you. You are free from the fear of being judged. And most importantly, you are free from the illusion of your own weakness. This is, without a doubt, the most powerful mindset a person can cultivate: the freedom to think, to act, and to exist on your own terms without needing permission from anyone. This kind of freedom is terrifying to people who rely on controlling others. It unsettles those whose self-worth is built on the validation they get from the crowd. Because when you no longer need anything from them, they have no power over you. So, if this resonates with you, if you've ever felt that there's a deeper strength inside you waiting to be unlocked, then this journey is for you. It's a commitment not to changing others, but to mastering yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. We've got a lot more to explore on the path to building a stronger, more resilient you. See you in the next one.